In the ancient kingdom of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar ruled with great power and wealth. His kingdom stretched far and wide, and many people admired him. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar had an idea to show his power to the world. He commanded that a massive golden statue be built in his honor. The statue stood 90 feet tall, gleaming in the sunlight, towering over the city as a symbol of his greatness. The king then issued a decree.
When the sound of music is heard, every person in the kingdom must bow down and worship this statue. Anyone who refuses to worship will be thrown into a blazing fiery furnace.
The news spread quickly, and soon the day came when the king gathered all his officials, governors, and the people of Babylon. When the music played, harps, lyres, flutes, and horns filling the air, everyone fell to the ground, bowing before the statue. But in the crowd, 3 young men remained standing tall. Their names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These 3 men were Jews who served the one true God, and they refused to bow to any idol. They had been taken from their homeland of Israel and brought to Babylon, but they never forgot their faith. Even though they lived in a foreign land, their hearts still belonged to God. Some of the king's advisors, who were jealous of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's position in the kingdom, saw that they did not bow to the statue. Seizing the opportunity to get rid of them, they went straight to King Nebuchadnezzar.
"O king, live forever."
They began, flattering him.
"Did you not issue a decree that everyone must bow down and worship the golden statue? There are certain Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to your command. They refuse to serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up."
Nebuchadnezzar was furious. How dare anyone defy his command? He ordered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be brought before him immediately. When they arrived, the king glared at them and said,
"Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden statue? I will give you one more chance. When the music plays again, you must bow down and worship the statue. If you refuse, you will be thrown into the blazing furnace. And what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?"
The room fell silent as everyone waited for their answer. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego looked at the angry king without fear in their eyes. They knew the price of their decision, but their faith in God was unshakable.
"O Nebuchadnezzar,"
they replied,
"we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the fiery furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, we want you to know, we will never serve your gods or worship the statue you have set up."
Nebuchadnezzar's face twisted in rage. He could not believe the defiance of these 3 men. In his fury, he ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. The fire roared, sending waves of heat into the air. The king commanded his strongest soldiers to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the furnace. The fire was so intense that as the soldiers approached the flames, they were killed by the heat. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, bound tightly, fell into the furnace. The flames were wild and fierce, and the crowd watched in horror, certain the men would be consumed within moments. But suddenly, something extraordinary happened. King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in astonishment and asked his officials,
"Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?"
"Yes, your majesty."
They replied.
"Look,
The king shouted.
I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods."
The crowd gasped. How could this be? The 3 men were walking in the midst of the flames, and they were not alone. Nebuchadnezzar hurried to the opening of the furnace and called out,
"Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out."
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the furnace. The flames had not harmed them at all. Their hair wasn't singed, their clothes weren't scorched, and there wasn't even the smell of smoke on them. Everyone marveled at this miracle. Nebuchadnezzar was in awe of the power he had just witnessed. He turned to the crowd and declared,
"Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied my command. They were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own. Therefore, I decree that anyone who speaks against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be punished. For no other God can save in this way.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were promoted to even higher positions in the kingdom, and their story became a testimony of God's faithfulness and power for generations to come. Moral lessons. 1. Faith in God overcomes all fear. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm in their faith, knowing that God had the power to save them. They did not let fear control their decisions. We should have the same faith in God's ability to protect and guide us, no matter how difficult the situation. 2. Obedience to God is greater than any earthly reward. Even though the king offered them another chance to save themselves, the three men chose to obey God rather than bow to an idol. Our loyalty to God must come before any earthly reward or pressure to compromise our beliefs. 3. God's presence is with us in our trials. In the fiery furnace, God was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, protecting them from harm. This reminds us that God is always with us, even in the most intense struggles. We may face trials, but God's presence is our ultimate comfort and protection. If this story inspired you, remember to trust in God, no matter what trials you face. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories of faith. Let others know that no matter the fire, God is with you.